All praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, HaKadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Peace and blessing to the Akim and Akwath, faithfully following this word, pursuing this truth, rehearsing the righteous acts, and providing a good example to those coming into the truth. And I really like the latest lesson that I've studied from GMS Historical Background, an elder in the United States. Got a bit of a southern drawl, so I'm imagining he's, I don't know, West or Midwest Texan. Yeah, just going over it, right? 2 Corinthians 8, and just talking about charity. You know, let's get some scriptures on charity and see what there is to say about what the Lord has to say about charity and how we are to go about charitable acts. The first thing that really strikes me is well, let's see, is alms. I think I put a note there about it. But let's go to Matthew 12 and 41 first of all, because I think that's one of the most important things. 12. Let me get it together. I think it's Matthew 12 and 41. No. Is it Mark 12 and 41? He said, and Yahushua sat over the treasury and beheld how people cast money into the treasury, and they that were rich cast in much. And there came a certain poor widow, and she threw in 2 mites, which is a farthing. I think the elder described it, a mite as the 64th of what was a day's wage, which was the salary, right? Or yeah, and which make a farthing. And he called upon his disciples and saith unto them, Verily I say unto you that this poor widow has cast in more than they that which have cast into the treasury, than all that they have cast into the treasury. For they all did cast out of their abundance, but she of her want did cast out that all she had, even all her living. And it kind of goes into fasting for me in a sense as well, because like say for example my daughters, they don't mind skipping a meal, and so they can do a fast for a 24-hour fast, and for them it's not a big deal. Whereas for me, greedy guts, it is a big deal, and it's understanding that when we give to the Lord, we are to give of ourselves. We're not to give of our want. The thing that we would want to keep back, and that's the understanding of the what happens in the spiritual realm. The things in the spiritual realm are kind of akin to what happened on the carnal plane. Excuse me, they're kind of similar, but they're not. They have more value. Which is why that the Lord said, and He's talking about the temple. He said, that I think it's in Acts where it says, "Albeit the Lord dwelleth not in temples made with human hands," is to say that the temples of the Lord were made with gold and silver, because that was the value of it was the spiritual value of people giving of their want. you know, and eventually the final temple, the third temple, which many are trying to, some of the small hats are trying to find the right red cow term before they build it or whatever. That temple was going to be the highest temple of all, the most valuable temple of all, and it's not going to have a single stone in it. And why is it going to be the highest temple of all? Because it will be given out of the want of the perfect, and we're only made perfect through Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, really, and His sacrifice. So there's the sense that there's a sacrifice. So first of all, spiritually, you need to sacrifice, and then you get a multiplier on that sacrifice based on how good you are, right? So the Lord doesn't He despises the sacrifices of wicked people. He doesn't want blood money. He doesn't want, but the perfect sacrifices of the perfect. Now that's a sweet savor unto the Lord. So albeit that when the apostles and the elders build their, hold on one sec. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so when the apostles and elders and the and the elect, really, who are made perfect. These people with the white robes. I think it's in Revelation 11. That they're made perfect through the blood of the Lamb. And their sacrifice and their building of the third temple is going to be the greatest temple ever. So that's a what some of the small fragments of, when you start to get into the scriptures and understanding, and I've also often said that, one of the signs that somebody is the spirit is working with someone is that externally they look like they're going through hell. As I think it was in Luke 6:41, where the Lord says, foxes have their holes. Let's see, have a look. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see, it's probably not many places where it's got foxes in the Bible. Luke 9:58, huh? And it says, foxes have their holes and birds and of the air have the nest, but the Son of Man have nowhere to lay his head. Which meaning, that one of the things, one of the signs that the Lord is dealing with someone is that they appear to have nothing, but they act as if they have everything. And it's the reason why GMS, even the Lord himself, it says, in Revelation, he says, I know your poverty, but thou art rich, with the sign that the Spirit's working with someone is they start to see through the carnal bullshit and start to see the real value, the real riches and the real spirituality and how things really work behind this facade, this carnal illusion that we're kind of stuck in, these chains of darkness. Let's get that. I think chains of darkness is in there. Be interesting to know where. Second Peter 2:4, for the Lord has spared. For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment, man. So to understand that we're just in this plane, man. It's like that Superman when they get locked in that that sheet of glass, this kind of illusion and spinning through space. We have to really kind of break free of that carnal thought, and enter into the spiritual realm. And it says, that you do it according to your ability, not to be not over righteous is another over righteous or right over much. Is it over much? Righteous over much or over righteous? Ecclesiastes 7:6. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldst thou destroy thyself? So yeah, again, we do things according to our ability. And that goes into Exodus, I think, 8:15, I believe, where they were talking about how the Lord gives each to his need. Everybody has a slightly different portion, but the idea is that we're supposed to give abundance from our abundance to the needy, so that everybody there is some form of equality. The Lord won't give everybody an equal measure. This ain't communism, but he distributes it out and to everybody their lot, and from that we're supposed to achieve equality. It says in the scriptures that one of the rules, the Levitical rules, was that that when you harvest, you're not to completely clear the field, but leave a little bit for the poor. And it also says in Tobit, I think it was 4:8 and 4:15. Let me see if we can get that. That's what the elder was going over Tobit. Where is it? Tobit 4. And he was explaining, and I say this for my own memory as well, not to mansplain, but it's always good to go over these things, you know, because other people understand them and connect. You know, the Spirit works like the wind, and it blows where it will. I can't see it. Maybe it was Tobit part of the. I think it's part of Apocrypha. Tobit 4 and 8 and 4 and 13 or something like that. 4 and 8. If thou hast abundance, give alms accordingly. If thou hast but little, but be not afraid to give according to that little, you know. So if you got less, don't worry about it, man. Just give, but you still give. Don't just say, "Oh, someone else got it." Like the elder said, you know, put 10 on 100. I love the way you said it. Put 10 on 100, man. Don't be afraid to put your 10 on 100, or your 10 pence on 100, or your 10 cents on 100. You know, according to you, because we all got to put in. We all got to take out at different times. Anyway, that's about it. I'll just go into 13, I think it was. Or 16, was it? 16. Give of thy bread to the hungry, and of thy garments to them that are naked, and according to thine abundance give alms, and not let thy eye be envious when thou givest alms. So don't do it grudgingly. You should be happy. As in 2 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, where are you? 2 Corinthians 8 and, I don't know, 3 or something it was. Oh no, 5. And this they did, not as we hoped, but they gave of their own selves to the Lord and unto us by the will of God, insomuch that we desired Titus that as he had begun, so he would finish with you at the same place. So, you know, the Macedonian church had been so afflicted and oppressed, but they were still joyous in their giving. So let's remember to be joyous in our giving, and understand that it's a pleasure, it's an honor to be able to contribute to this truth. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Hasham, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hasham, Rahakadah Shalawat.